You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction. What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monty Sports Show. It is Wild Card Weekend, January 16th, 2022. I am your host, Monty Perez, aka The Sports Whisperer. I want to thank everyone for watching the show yesterday. We had Gus Ferran on, Rico Show Me the Money Graziano, Levi, and of course, George Lopez. Had 33 states across the country watch the full Monty Sports Show. We're going to be doing all sorts of shows during the playoffs on Nuts and Bolts Sports, so make sure to subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts Sports YouTube channel. Give us the thumbs up. Tell a friend. Tell a family member. We are growing. The numbers are growing, so thank you for all the support. Cheers to everyone, and again, thank you for all the support. So we're going to bring on two Dallas Cowboy guys not right now, part of the Nuts and Bolts family, Jeff Barnes and Greg Rector. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying some football, after working it all yesterday. So,
Yep.
Greg, how you holding up? Very nerve-wracking first quarter for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, it was the first quarter that I always write about and have written about for several years now at nutsandboltsports.com. The starts of the Cowboys at home. This is what I've always warned about, and it showed up again.
Wow, look at Joe. Come on, 49ers. Let's crush some dreams. Coming out swinging. And yes, we'll get into the Eagles and some other stuff. All right. So one of the reasons I was telling Greg before we went on the air, I was about maybe 55-45 picking this game. I had San Francisco winning because I just thought they'd be able to push Dallas around. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Mhm.
The weakness of this Dallas Cowboy team is not going sideline to sideline because they're super fast. But we saw in the fourth quarter, the 49ers really smash mouth football, ran up the middle, and their offensive and defensive line really dominated in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, they were able to come out that first drive and enforce their will in the running game. They had some runs pop. They were able to work some passes down the field off the play action, and they were able to move the ball in chunks, stay out of third down situation. Since then, you're starting to see Dallas giving up less on the ground, forcing them into those third down situations. They may be driving the field, but they're not finding the end zone, which is the reason why Dallas is still in this game. So give credit to the Dallas defense for bowing up a little bit. They need to come back a little stronger on first and second down in the second half and really force them into third down situations and try and force some mistakes. So far, they haven't had the ability to force the mistake, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I think in the chat room, Dom, I actually said it to my dad, and Dom wrote it in the chat room, Greg. You know, if the 49ers are in 3rd and 5 or less, that's where they want to be. So how does Dallas, Greg, how do they force Jimmy G into a 3rd and 9? Because we saw a couple of times, and you brought this up on the preview show, that his lack of mobility, you guys both said it, could be a factor here. So how does Dallas keep them in a 3rd and long situation?
It's tackles for loss when they try to run the football, right? I mean, that's how they ended up forcing the Niners to settle for field goals. They did get some tackles for loss there. When you stop that first down run, then you can attack, right? And they have to keep doing that. And personally, I want to see some peanut punches going on because they haven't shown that. Punch that football loose. Let's get it.
Good point. Okay, let's talk about, Greg, staying with you, then we'll go to Jeff, talk about this running game. Dallas Cowboys only have 31 rushing yards. One of the things that we're seeing, too, here is Dallas in the second part of the second quarter kind of even it up a little bit, but over 19 minutes of time of possession for San Francisco, only 10 for Dallas. They got to get this run game going.
Absolutely, and that's something that they desperately need. I think they got to get outside with Pollard and let Tony Pollard run a little bit loose here because you're not going to get too much out of Zeke. It's just the fact of life, and Pollard is going to have to be the guy that gets it upfield on the ground.
I was surprised, Jeff, because one of the things you try to do to neutralize a super fast or aggressive front four is maybe throw some screen passes. Let those rushers, Bosa, come in and throw a couple of screen passes. Do you think Pollard will play more in the second half and try to get him the ball? If not running, then use that screen as kind of a running game?
No, I think part of the problem with their running game was that they didn't enforce the running game. If you watch the opening drives, the pass to run ratio was out of hand. That is something that has been a common thing with Kellen Moore. So if you got to look at it, the way they're calling plays, you go 3 and out on the first series. Well, your first play was a pass. The second play was a wide run that had no chance. And then you put yourself in a long third down situation and get your quarterback sacked. Come out the next series, they pass again. So you saw it on the drive where they had their most success, where they finished in the end zone. They came out, no matter what, they were stubborn. They ran the football at the front. And I think that's a case of Mike McCarthy getting on the headset and saying, okay, Kellen, we played the cute ball long enough. Come back, run the football. What happens when you run the football? The play action game opens up. All of a sudden, those throws that you were able to hit early in the season when you were running the football and were committed to the run, all of a sudden pop. So they got into the situation going into the half where there was 2-minute drills, so they had to throw the football. So that's going to kind of disproportionate again. Coming out, getting the ball first in the second half, they have to do what they did on that touchdown drive, commit to running the football, working the play action game, taking a couple of shots. But once again, you have to commit to the run, something they didn't do in the first quarter.
Greg, 16-7, San Francisco. God bless Robbie Gould. He's never missed a playoff kick. But you got to feel good after letting up the opening drive touchdown. How this defense is really just bend but not break. Because let's be honest, if Shanahan was a little more aggressive, there might have been some touchdowns there. But the defense has got to feel good about themselves to hold them to field goals.
Well, I mean, but that's like kissing your sister. They're still putting points. They're still putting up points, right? And it has to stop. They can have no points put up on them. That's got to be the key. It's 3 and out, and get Dak back out in the field with the offense as often as possible here. They need stops, and or they need to do what they've done all year, which is lead the league in takeaways. They've got to get something. They need it, and I think that changes the game if it happens.
Jeff, one of the things I always say in a playoff game or when you face a team a second time, you got to put something new in there. And that play to Wilson where he was going to throw it to Pollard, that looked like a perfect call, but it just wasn't an execution. It wasn't executed correctly. But do you like the game plan after the first quarter and how Dallas has adjusted? We talk about the Cowboys, how Moore and their defensive coordinator are really interviewing and being talked about as head coaches. Do you like what they've done in the second half? And what other adjustments can they make?
I like the adjustments by Dan Quinn. Once again, that's the execution. I'm seeing, some of those first downs, it's a case of a guy just not executing. The completion on the outside where Garoppolo scrambles and completes it to Ayuk on the sideline. That is one where if you're the cornerback, the guy stops and the corner breaks the pocket. You have the ability now to get your hands on the wide receiver. You have to attach to his hip, right, and connect to him so there's no separation so that ball doesn't fit in there. That's the problem that you're seeing. Every once in a while, it's a little breakdown here, a little breakdown there. You give up a couple of first downs, and they find a way to get off. Give them credit. 10-0 in the first quarter. Since then, 7-3 Dallas. So if you're Dallas, okay, you figured out how to move the football on offense. Well, now you got something to build on coming out in the second half. Defensively, let's tighten up those situations where we're going out there giving up either a big play like they did, not getting any pressure on Garoppolo and allowing Ayuk to once again to sneak free on tight coverage. All right. Or you're going to have a problem where you're going to have to turn into a track meet. The offense has got to come out there and score touchdowns every drive because you're holding them to field goal. It's a losing situation if you're San Francisco, if the Dallas offense gets rolling. But overall, you've put a lot of pressure on the Cowboy offense to come out here and be perfect in the second half.
Well, one of the things, Greg, I want to see is CeeDee Lamb doesn't have a catch. So he had a run for 5 yards, but, you have Amari Cooper, who's played very well, 4 catches. You have Wilson with 2 catches and Schultz with 2 catches. They got to get CeeDee Lamb involved in the offense.
Well, they got to take a shot with him because they're running Wilson in the slot. So CeeDee on the outside where he's his natural position, he should be targeted, absolutely. And I think they got to just find him down the line and go for it. That's what I want to see out of Dak. I want to see something deeper. Attack these guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if your offensive line, one of the things that is so impressive about San Francisco, again, they don't really blitz a lot. They just send four guys, and they have all the confidence in the world. Bosa walked off a little bit before the half.
Yeah.
We don't know how significant his injury is, but if I'm Jeff, if I'm Dallas, you come out, you try to establish the run, right, and then you use that play action.
Yeah, well, you have to get back to that. I was trying to find an update on Bosa. I haven't seen one yet either. You have to get back to it. So far, the only time your offense in this game has been successful is when you manage to commit to the running game. Like I said, that's the way you take the pressure off Dak. That's the way you're able to come out with the play action and free up some guys on the routes quicker rather than have them sitting in the pocket with this pass rush, waiting for guys to come open. It's a quick throw off the play action. It's a nice way to when you suck them up inside, when you try to run that play action with Zeke up the middle. It's a nice way to get those guys behind the linebackers. So when you're doing all that stuff, to give them that eye candy, just like Shanahan gives you that same eye candy for a reason. It's a great way to give your quarterback an extra look, and it gives them an extra second to throw.
Greg, I had Deebo Samuel, excuse me, in my fantasy football, so I know
As
how
did
special
I.
I know how special this guy is. He's kind of like Devontae Adams. Like he could go over the slot, he could go deep. There's really no way to stop this guy. Like Dan Patrick, you could say you can only hope to contain him.
Yep.
But the thing what I like about Dallas's offense and when they're passing is you have 3, 4, 5 guys who could catch the ball where San Francisco relies so heavily on the running game and Deebo Samuel. So my question to you is, do you start to double team this guy and just say, hey, let someone else beat you?
No, I don't think they can do that because you saw on third down Jennings made a play. You saw in another one Ayuk made a play. You got to play the Niners straight up. You got to give them their credit, right? Because if you don't, Garoppolo so far has found the guy. Now, if you start getting some better pressure on Garoppolo and knocking him on his butt, then you can look at switching things up on coverages. But until that happens, no, you got to give the Niners respect because they will find that guy so far.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if it's me, my philosophy is, and Jeff, I don't know how you feel about this, but my thing is, let someone else beat you. Like Bill Belichick, forget about yesterday's game. Congratulations to the Bills and just an embarrassment. But Bill Belichick is great for that. It's just taking away your strength. Like Deebo did whatever he wanted in the first quarter. So, Jeff, you agree with Greg here because they've had success with Ayuk, who had 52 catches on the year and has really come on in the second part of the year. You see Jennings making plays, and of course you have George Kittle. Are you saying that you just play it straight up like you've been?
I think you continue to play man coverage,
Okay.
because what you want to do is you want to get pressure. They're not getting enough pressure. All right. And that's where it comes back to. All right. We see that the edges are able to get there, but what you're seeing he's able to do is step up inside and slide away from the pressure. You need the inside pressure. So, in other words, that's times you're going to have to take Parsons and bring them as a rusher. And they've done that, and it works to their advantage as we get ready to kick off the second half. But what you got to say is plain and simple. If I want to bring pressure and I want to do all that stuff to get at Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm going to have to man up. And you have the ability to man up and impact coverage because your guys can match up with these guys. The guy that you're worried about the most is Deebo. Put your best guy on him. Ayuk is good, but guess what? If you're manning up and getting pressure, it's about the guy getting the football to those guys, not so much about how good those guys are.
Okay, so the kickoff, Dallas got it. Greg, give us your score. Who wins this game and why?
Well, I had 31-23 Cowboys. So let's see. San Francisco gets one touchdown this half, and we score the 24 points. I'm right.
Okay, all right, Greg. All right, Jeff, what about you?
Right now, I said 26-20 Dallas. Right now, that is a little out of range. So I'm going to go for the I'm going to go 30-27 Dallas.
30-20. Okay, and I'm taking San Francisco here, 27-20. I think Dallas has a good third quarter, but San Francisco pulls away. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Two great Cowboy fans who know more about the Cowboys than almost anyone in the country, other than Tony Romo, who gets annoying sometimes. These guys aren't annoying. So I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much for coming on real quick.
You got
Anytime,
it. Have a good
Monty.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
Great job, guys.
All
Great
right.
job. Thank you so much. All right, that was Jeff. That was Greg. Guys did a tremendous job of breaking down the Cowboys on their side of it. My friend Jared's been texting me all day. He's obviously a San Francisco 49er fan. We're going to do another halftime show tomorrow night with Brad Ward. Normally we do a Monday show with Brad Ward and A-Marie recapping the week. A-Marie's in Las Vegas with her radio station that she works for. She will not be joining us. But I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Enjoy the second half. And, of course, tonight, Pittsburgh Steelers, is this the last game for Ben Roethlisberger against the Kansas City Chiefs? Make sure to subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel, and we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much for tuning in at halftime. In the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.